Welcome, everyone. It's officially October, and that means postseason baseball. The Yankees and Mets unfortunately did not make the playoffs, so what kind of changes need to be made for these organizations heading into the offseason?
We're 4 weeks in the NFL season, and the Bills and Jets are 2-2, while the G-Men are still looking for a win. Is the season already over for Eli's team?
And with postseason baseball, there also comes the hockey season. The Sabres, Rangers, and Isles are all looking to raise the cup. Do any of them have a chance?
We'll answer with our opinions on a brand new WT Sports show that talks all about New York State teams.
This is Empire Sports. I'm Matt Moran alongside Mike Taylor. Thank you for watching.
Let's start with the NFL, where New York State teams went 1-2 this past week. We have our football analyst, Matt Drexler. Matt, what do you take away from Week 4?
Well, for all these teams, the Giants, the Jets, and the Bills, the Giants didn't look the greatest. They 0-4. They're still looking for a win. Eli, let's see if they can get their feet back under them, because with a great quarterback like Eli, you know he'll get his team back together. For the Jets, we don't know what to see out of them. They're up and down all season. Last week we saw the bad side. 3 weeks, the previous week before, we saw a good game against the Bills. So who knows what's from the Jets this season? And moving on to the Bills, you can take something positive out of the Bills last week, as their rushing game was very, very impressive, especially Fred Jackson, who looked very good and may actually take over the starting spot over C.J. Spiller. And E.J. Manuel definitely showed some improvements last season, so it'll be interesting to see, guys.
Thanks, Drex. It was a very surprising win over the Ravens, wasn't it, Mike?
Oh, it truly was.
Now we'll take it to the Bills highlights. Great game, 1-2 for the Bills. It was a game that not many people saw them winning this game. The Ravens, they were coming off a huge blowout over the Texans. You see up here the good start for the Bills, getting a field goal. Definitely it was played. The Bills had a good lead the whole entire way. They played tough, and surprisingly, their defense just took care of Joe Flacco, having 5 interceptions. They were all over him, not letting him have control of the ball. Wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it was very impressive. I mean, Kiko Alonso obviously up for Rookie of the Week this week, along with Robert Woods, the receiver. Actually, we're looking at the play right now. I mean, it looks like they're a solid team this year. I mean, you really can't say anything bad about them. They have heart, and it's something they haven't had for a while.
Yeah, this is a very exciting team to see. All 4 games have been decided by a touchdown or less, so it's very fun football to watch when you're watching the Buffalo Bills. As a Bills fan, you definitely are not happy with the way they lose, but also very excited when they win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being a Bills fan, there's a lot of stuff. I've been pulling my hair out for the last 18 years over these guys. It's rough being a Bills fan, but we finally have something to cheer for.
Now on to the team that beat the Bills, the New York Jets. Things looked up and down. For the Rex Ryan team so far, and this week was more down than up, as it was a lackluster performance against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, the Jets, basically what happened was the Jets fell apart. They really didn't know what to do. They were very inconsistent. Geno Smith obviously threw some picks. It's a classic rookie mistake as far as I'm concerned. So, you can't really you can't say much about it. Like I said, they are a young team. It is a rookie team. So you just got to kind of go with the flow on that and see where it takes them.
Now, why don't we take it to Matt Drexler. Drex, what do you think? The Jets have to play the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football, big game. What kind of team do you think shows up, Drex?
Well, as you said it, we've seen 2 different sides from the Jets this year. You see bad and the good. To be honest, I really don't know which team shows up on Sunday. But if I had to choose one, I'd definitely pick the bad side. Geno Smith, he's a rookie quarterback, first time in the bright lights on Monday night. And it's going to be tough. He's playing a good team in the Falcons, even though they're 1-3. So I think Geno, that Falcon defense will cause some turnovers out of the young quarterback. And who knows, maybe Matty Ice over there will get hot and pick apart that Jets defense.
Very true. Now, finally, the Jets are off to an absolute terrible start, as they got the pleasure of playing the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. Mike, this wasn't a game that wasn't meant for the Giants.
No games have been meant for the Giants so far. It's pretty much been a washout as far as the Giants' units has been. if I could say something good about them, it's that one of their players hasn't died yet. So, I mean, a really rough season for the Giants, obviously. Just the picks and the line and the running situation, it's just not good for Giants fans right now. It's just not a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much promise for this Giants team every year, a team that's won 2 Super Bowls the last 5 years. Now, a lot of people can say Giants get off to a slow start most years, but they've never been like this, 0-4 under Tom Coughlin. I don't think that's ever happened under him as the coach of the Giants. And this is a team that just doesn't look like a team that's ready to play. They got blown out by the Panthers, blown out by the Chiefs. Just continue game by game by game. It's not looking good. Let's send to Drex. Drex, do you see any hope for the Giants this year? Do they even have a chance at going 8-8?
Do I see a chance for the Giants? We're talking about 2 times the Super Bowl winning MVP in Eli Manning. You know he'll get that team back to a decent playing level at least. You know, Tom Coughlin, he's been there. Eli, they know how to bring back this locker room. And Eli Manning, he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think we'll see him rally his troops up to at least win 5 or 6 games this year.
Okay, well, we'll see how it works out for the 3 NFL teams. When we come back, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball.
We are the Tigers from Pack 885. And you are watching WTOP. Yeah!
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Stop. It just says. Okay, it took 100. Back on. Are we ready? Okay. It took 162 games, 163 for the Rays and Rangers, but the Major League Baseball regular season is now over.
Postseason started tonight with the NL wildcard game between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds, while the Tampa Bay Rays playing Cleveland against the Indians in the AL wildcard game tomorrow.
We have Sam Watkins here to talk about the Mets and Yankees. Now, Sam, let's first talk about the Yankees. They ended up with a record of 87-62, but no playoffs. What do you take away from the season from the Bronx Bombers?
Well, the Yankees may be in rebuilding mode as much as the Yankees are ever going to be in rebuilding mode. That being said, the Yankees are a team that's one free agent away from performing again. But is this really the year to go after a free agent? I'm not sure. Maybe it's Robinson Cano. Maybe it's a guy like Jacoby Ellsbury. That's for Brian Cashman and the guys in New York to decide.
And now, Sam, what about Robinson? What about Robinson Cano? It's reported that he wants a $305 million contract. Do you think he even deserves this?
Well, without a doubt, Robinson Cano is the best second baseman in baseball. But is there any second baseman who's deserving of $305 million? Albert Pujols and Alex Rodriguez in their primes are worth $305 million. So why is a guy like Robinson Cano going to be worth $305 million? If you ask me, he's absolutely not.
So if you think the Yankees don't give him money, do you think he'll stay?
Well, I don't think Robinson Cano realistically expects to be paid $305 million by any team. He's going to have to lower his asking level by a lot of money. So if you ask me, Robinson Cano is going to be a Yankee next year, but it's not going to be for $305 million.
So Sam, what about the Mets? What are your views on them?
Well, for the first time in a while, I think the Mets actually have a better outlook than the Yankees. They are a young team with a lot of promise, but their entire future hinges, especially for next year, on the health of Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey's an ace, and he completely makes this team look different. But besides Matt Harvey, Mets are one free agent away, like the Yankees, from making a splash in the NL East. This free agent could be a guy like Shin-Soo Choo, who will really help lead off the Mets and provide some runs at the top of the lineup, something the Mets have been lacking in the last few years.
So Sam, do you think that the Mets are contenders next year for even just playoffs?
as I said before, it's all going to depend on Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey is the ace of the New York Mets, and whether they make the playoffs or not depends on Matt Harvey, and whether they even compete or not depends on Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey right now is the New York Mets, and they're going to live and die by Harvey.
Well, another losing season with record 74 and 88, but some good promise for the team. What kind of moves do the team need to make if they're going to take the next step forward in being an elite team in the MLB?
Well, I think they're on the right path right now. They just re-signed manager Terry Collins to a 2-year extension. Collins hasn't had a winning record in the Mets so far, but the guys, Sandy Alderson, they really love him in New York, and he's really building a rapport with the players. Sandy Alderson is where it begins, and obviously having guys like Harry Collins, Matt Harvey, and maybe Noah Syndergaard this year is really going to help Mets' chances. So if you ask me, the Mets are already doing everything they can to be an elite team in the National League within the next few years.
Okay, we see, end the season for the Mets. They've dealt with a lot of injuries with Harvey and Zach Wheeler. Do you think that these guys will be able to make a comeback and be ready for next year's season?
For the sake of the Mets, you really hope they don't rush Matt Harvey's recovery. Matt Harvey is a pitcher who has the potential to be a key player of the Mets and one of the best pitchers in the National League and all of baseball for the next 10, 15 years. The Mets are in no hurry to get him back, and as much as they'd like to win next year, I think they're more concerned about the future and the long-term future of their franchise.
Very true, Sam. Now, great stuff. What about also okay, now, well, thank you, Sam. Now, do you know that the hockey season is now underway? It began tonight, and coming up, we're going to have Anthony Doles discussing Sabres, Rangers, and Islanders after this break here on Empire Sports.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel 2. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
Hi, I'm Al Roker, class of '76, Oswego State University. You're watching WTOP, Channel 10. We didn't have this when I was in school. We just had radio and smoke signals.
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Mike, do you know what time it is?
No, I do not, man. What time is it?
It is hockey time. The NHL season started tonight, and we've got your Rangers, Islanders, and Sabres covered here on Empire Sports. We have here Anthony to talk about them. Now, Anthony, this is a whole new league with realignment in only 4 divisions. It makes for more competitive play. Let's start first with the Rangers and Islanders, who are now in the Metropolitan Division.
Well, the Metropolitan Division is the old division with the Rangers and Islanders in it, except that it added the Carolina Hurricanes, Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals is a tough team to play for anyone. Alex Ovechkin, Alex Semin, Mike Green, whatnot. Columbus made the playoffs last year. Marian Gaborik is a really solid player, and they have some other nice pieces. And Carolina has 2 Stahl brothers, so you're always well off there. It's going to be tough competition for the Rangers and Islanders this year.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Mike, I definitely think that this is like a tough year for the Rangers. They have a lot of promise. There was a lot of promise for this year, for last year's team too, and they came a little short. Do you think that they're going to make the playoffs, and how far do you think they're going to go do?
Well, I mean, every team starts with promise. That's undeniable. To be honest, they were a decent team last year. I thought they were going to go a little farther than they did. So yeah, I mean, I'm predicting they go pretty far into the season this year.
Okay, now, Anthony, what about the Sabres? The Sabres now are in the Atlantic Division, which added the Detroit Red Wings, the Florida Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. How do you see it working out for the Sabres?
Any division that has the Detroit Red Wings added to it is going to have a tough time. They're just a really solid team with a really solid coach. However, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, were two of the worst teams in the NHL last year. So maybe the Sabres might have a little bit of easier competition this year, but who knows what's going to happen with those two teams.
Yeah, Mike, I definitely have to say, this Sabres team doesn't have a lot of talent. There's some good guys like Ryan Miller, who I think after the 2008 Olympics, he's definitely not been the same kind of, 2010 Olympics, I'm sorry. He has not been the same goalie. The only real goal scorer on the team is Thomas Vanek. With a team that doesn't really have a lot of talented leaders, do you think the Sabres are going to, be harmed by that?
Obviously, as a Buffalo fan, I always have to at least pray that they're going to go somewhere. But yeah, this year it might be a rebuilding season for them. I mean, like you said, goalie's getting a little older. They haven't got as many people who are on the team who can score. It definitely might be one of those seasons that I'm not saying it's going to be a downer, but I don't think it's going to be the most exciting thing to watch if you're a Buffalo fan.
Yeah, Anthony, what do you see for the Sabres this upcoming season?
The thing with the Sabres is they're very young. They're very unproven. They just named Thomas Vanek and Steve Ott co-captains, which is the first time they've had co-captains since 2007 with Chris Drury and Danny Briere. They have Ryan Miller, always a solid option at goalie, and even a capable backup with Jonas Enroth. Vanek will have to produce, Hodgson will have to produce, and they're going to have to get better play out of Tyler Myers. It might be a little bit of a tough season for the Sabres, but we'll see.
Yeah, now let's go back to the Rangers and Islanders. The Rangers, I definitely have to say, in my book, are Stanley Cup contenders in the Eastern Conference. There are some really good teams out west, but when it comes to Eastern Conference team, this is one of the most talented teams. They just got to put it out and get it done on the ice. Who do you think is the best team out of the East? Out of Islanders and Rangers, who do you think is going to have the better season?
To be honest, I mean, they're pretty even teams. I'm just going to go with the Rangers simply because I'm more of a Rangers fan, actually. To be honest, both of these teams have excellent chances of making it to the Stanley Cup. They all have a lot of great heart. They have some decent players who can get out there and score. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just going to be which team can essentially put that team on the ice and which team can score with that team.
What about you, Anthony? Islanders and Rangers, do you see either one of those teams hoisting the cup?
Well, it comes down to talent. The Islanders have John Tavares and a couple other solid offensive players, and we'll see how Nabokov is in net. But it's hard to argue against the talent of the Rangers with Henrik Lundqvist, always a solid option at goalie, Ryan Callahan, their captain, and Brad Richards and Rick Nash on the front line with Michael Del Zotto holding down the defense. It's going to be I think the Rangers will have a better season than the Islanders, even though the Islanders were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, very true. The Islanders are actually moving to Brooklyn this year, now becoming the Brooklyn Islanders, I believe so. Is that true, Anthony, I believe?
I haven't heard anything about that. It might be true, but...
Yeah, I believe they're, if I'm not mistaken, they're moving from Long Island, just like they were going to be joining the Brooklyn Nets and playing at the Barclays Center. It's a kind of move that's very interesting, and, do you see a new fan base coming up for the team, Mike?
I mean, definitely. Whenever you switch cities, no matter what sport it is, there's going to be a change in the fan base. You can say you might lose some fans from your last city, but at the same time, you're definitely going to gain some new fans from the other one. So it's basically going to even itself out in the end as far as their fan base goes.
Okay. Well, I can say I'm definitely excited for some NHL action. Stay tuned. You're watching Empire Sports.
Got a good thing going, and I don't wanna see it end. Oh no, no, no.
Hi, we're Real Big Fish.
And you're watching WTOP 10.
Like the number.
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Last night, Lori Capricuzzi scored 2 goals on Aliyah Brian Love.
And Joe, get out. Adam, you're in.
Lori Korpakovsky scored 2 goals on Ilya Brizgalov. Got it!
little more in-depth coverage of the NFL for the Jets, the Bills, and the Giants. The Bills, they play Thursday at Cleveland. Mike, how do you see the game going for the Bills?
For some reason, despite the fact that they are usually sub-average, the Bills seem to have some difficulty with Cleveland. I remember several seasons ago, a game ended in like a baseball score or something like that. This time I feel like it's going to be a little bit different just because the fact that, hey, the Bills actually are good this year. So, I mean, I'm expecting a really good game. I'm not expecting much from the run game of Cleveland, obviously. So, I mean, I'm really looking for a good show.
Yeah, we've seen when these two teams play, sometimes it's been played right in the middle of December in Cleveland, and you know that weather in Cleveland off Lake Erie, the snow is brutal, and I think that caused, I think it was like a 6-3 score is what you're talking about. I think that's what happened there. Very interesting game, but I think both these teams, a lot of life for both. Both are 2-2, which is probably surprising to most that the Cleveland Browns are 2-2 after they trade away Trent Richardson. It's actually working out pretty well for the Browns. What do you say, Mike?
Obviously, the trade obviously did something for them because, I mean, they're good now. As for the Bills, I mean, it's just exciting watching two young quarterbacks duke it out on what is essentially the frozen tundra. The only place more frozen, of course, than here at Oswego. So like I said, it's going to be a difficult game for both teams. It's going to probably be cold. I mean, if the weather gets down there, that could become an issue. It could be a huge factor. So when it comes down to it, it's just going to be a solid. It's going to have to be a solid game for both quarterbacks.
I definitely think the Bills got to stop. I believe the tight end from Cleveland. He's been a big part. Brian Hoyer, the quarterback, the new quarterback, which not a lot of people felt like they had any promise with this quarterback. He's getting the job done. They beat Minnesota. They beat Cincinnati, which the Cincinnati win was probably definitely the most surprising win of the week, along with, of course, the Bills win over the Ravens. And really, whoever wins this game is going to have a winning record. Now, Drexler, who do you think wins this game? Bills and Browns, Thursday Night Football.
Well, Bills and Browns, it's definitely going to be a good game. I kind of see the Browns winning this one just because how hot the backup quarterback, essentially, Brian Hoyer, has been. He just took over the spot of Brandon Weeden. So I think Hoyer, he'll stay hot with the Browns. They've been successful, believe it or not, after Trent Richardson, but that might be a myth according to most, as Hoyer's had a great season to this point, which is extremely unexpected. The Bills, they're an improving team. Manuel, he's shown some promise back there, but Hoyer's hot right now, and you can't go against him.
Yeah, Mike, the Jets, let's go back to the Jets. They are going to be playing a very tough task. We've already noted on this early in the show against the Atlanta Falcons. Monday Night Football. It's prime time. I believe it's in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. You know, teams like Atlanta and New Orleans, they are just so good at home in prime time. What do the Jets need to do to contain Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons?
Let's start by not throwing interceptions. Geno Smith, a lot of picks in his last game. It's what a rookie does. He goes and he's going to make some mistakes. But definitely there's got to be a point where you just got to get that ball into your receiver's hands, not the other team's defenders, but into your receiver's hands, and I think that's just going to be the key for them. I mean, that with the defense, which apparently is pretty decent, so it basically shellacked the Bills. So that's going to be their two keys, is keep Geno Smith from throwing the picks and that defense.
Yeah, I definitely see that. The only way the Jets can win this game, if it's a low-scoring game, probably in the low 20s, if this turns into a shootout, I don't see the Jets able to keep up with that very good Falcons offense. You know, with Matt Ryan, if Steven Jackson is back, that would even be a huge plus for the Falcons. What do you say about that game, Mike?
Well, to be honest, I mean, the Falcons stumbled a little bit. They've been kind of stumbling through the season so far. You can actually argue either way. You can say, okay, the Falcons, because of their experience, because they're home, are going to win the game, or you could simply say that the Jets are a total wild card in this case. You don't know which Jets team is going to show up in this game. So that's definitely my opinion as far as that goes.
Rex Ryan really knows how to surprise some people. You know, he sometimes puts out a very terrible team and sometimes surprises everybody and looks like a genius. Drexler, you know, Jets, I think we might have already gone over this, but what do you think are the key factors for the Jets for the Falcons game on Monday night?
For me, it's turnovers. The Jets, Geno Smith, he's a rookie quarterback. You can't keep if you're Marty Morningway, you can't put Geno Smith in that situation. You can't let him just sit back there and throw the ball 40, 50 times. He's a rookie quarterback, and you gotta hand the ball off more. I know they've been missing Ivory these past couple of weeks, but you need to find a way to get that running game established for a rookie quarterback and sort of pave the way for Geno Smith just to kind of ease into it and be just a convenience back there at quarterback, essentially. For the Falcons, look for them to come out raging hot. They're 1-3. They lost a tough loss last week against the Patriots, and it's at the Georgia Dome, as you said. So, in front of their home fans, 1-3. They do not want to go 1-4, and Matt Ryan's going to be hot this game.
Great insight, Drexler. Now we're going to take one last break. We're going to come back with some bold predictions by both me and Mike. You're watching Empire Sports.
Well, now I'm Naked Cowboy coming to a town near you. You're watching WTOP TV 10, Oswego, New York. I'm Naked Cowboy.
We are Cub Scouts from Oswego, Pack 888, and you are watching WTOP.
Last night, Lori Capricuzzi scored 2 goals on Aliyah Brian Love. And
Joe, get out. Adam, you're in.
Lori Korpakowski scored 2 goals on Ilya Brizgalov. Got it!
Now, before we end the show, we would like to end it with some bold predictions by the both of us. I'll start off first. My bold prediction for tonight's show has to be for college football. I believe that the University of Buffalo, the University of Buffalo Bulls football team is going to win the MAC championship. This is the conference they are in. Is a very low-profile conference with many teams across the Midwest. This team hasn't had a winning season since they last won the MAC in 2008. The Bulls are 2-2 so far with no conference games played yet. But they beat Stony Brook in quadruple overtime and beat UConn this week 41-12. Their 2 losses came to the ranked opponents on the road against the Ohio State and Baylor. Led by redshirt quarterback Joe Licata, I think this team has a real shot to win their conference.
Very interesting, Matt. My prediction is that the New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup with Henrik Lundqvist and many weapons such as Rick Nash, Brad Richards, and Ryan Callahan. I think this team will be parading down Madison Avenue in June.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Mike. I
could have said Bills.
Yeah, with the Rangers, I mean, they are definitely it's a very interesting team to pick for the Stanley Cup. Why don't we have a couple more bold predictions? Mike, you got one more for me?
The Jets win another game. Or no,
Jets.
Jacksonville wins. No, this is New York State. The Jets win another game.
Okay.
That's my bold prediction.
I would definitely. Okay, that's an interesting. Jacksonville definitely is. Are they going to go 0-16? They have so many tough teams on their schedule. Really, this week they play St. Louis, which, when you look at their schedule, is probably their easiest game for the rest of the year. With everything else, another bold prediction for me, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Buffalo Bills are going to make the NFL playoffs. I know it's a bit crazy, especially with teams like Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots in their own division. This is a team that I think has a lot of promise. I just love the way they play against Baltimore Ravens, and I think once they have to play the Cleveland Browns, I think they win that game, and then they keep on going. They play the Cincinnati Bengals, which we saw got beat out by the Browns. So this is a team that, if they can go on a run and start working together with E.J. Manuel, this is a very team that has a chance. Now, we hope you enjoyed. We're glad you tuned in. Remember to check out WTOP Morning News in the morning tomorrow. Thank you for watching Empire Sports. I'm Matt Moran. That's Mike Taylor. Thanks again, and we'll see you later.